Plaintiff Christina Adams says while going through a divorce, she moved in with the defendant, and they became friends with benefits. Christina claims she and the defendant had their property in a storage unit, but after Christina went to jail, the defendant stopped paying the bill, and the property was auctioned off, so she's suing. Defendant Antonio Cabrera says he feels used by Christina because he wanted a relationship with her, but she just wanted sex and a place to live. Antonio's countersuing for unpaid rent.
Start with you.
Since I've known Antonio, he hasn't been the most responsible person, doesn't make very good
Where'd you all meet and when?
We met in December 2017 when I was going through a divorce. I was looking for a new place to rent, and he was connected to me from my music at first.
Okay. You a performing artist or a recording artist?
See, yeah.
Good. Okay.
So he agreed to let me move into his place, and we started friends with benefits.
Mm-hmm.
No girlfriend and boyfriend, because I was going through a divorce and I had no interest in any kind of commitment. And I was really blunt and honest about that from the beginning.
You just wanted some intimacy.
Well,
Or you want a companionship.
no, we're gonna be living together already, and so like it was more like convenient.
Since you're here.
Only guy around.
Why don't you tell me? Give me some background, sir.
Well, when I met Christina, I think that that she didn't want a relationship or nothing like that, and I understand that.
Well, so you all were never intimate.
No, it's like she says, friends with benefit.
Okay.
But the way that I see it, I was the one that was persistent in actually wanting a relationship
That's right.
with
She
her.
took advantage of you.
Yeah, and what you call it out? When you say taking advantage, is that she took advantage of me as in a place to live and having sex.
Having sex
Yeah.
and a place to live.
Yes.
All right. Did she pay rent?
No, she didn't.
You feel used. You feel she moved in solely?
And I believe that I wanted a relationship with her, and she was telling me that she didn't want a relationship because she was going through a divorce and she felt broken. But I could relate to that because I honestly went through something myself, living in the streets, selling drugs, going in and out of jail, and I see myself in 3 places: doing life in prison, in a hospital bed, or in a casket. But I decided to move to Washington to better myself.
Good.
And I actually accomplished that goal.
Good.
I got my 2 cars, I had my own apartment, and it felt good because
You had a decent job, obviously.
Yeah, yes, I did, Your Honor.
Good.
And I believe that what I did that I could have done in 33 years in California, I came to do it in Washington in less than 1 year.
Good.
So I ended up rehabilitating myself.
Good. Very good. Hats off to you, and I like to hear these type of stories so the viewers and guys in the street, we got a lot of street guys that watch me.
Thank you.
And I like for them to hear ways to get out of the street, so thanks for that.
Thank you.
And a lot of it involves changing your environment. I was spared because my environment went from the streets to college.
Yeah.
Weren't that many thugs there, so I got out of, if any. So I got out of that environment. So you got out of the environment, and went and got you a good job and 2 cars, apartment, and a beautiful woman. You're the man.
Plaintiff Christina Adams says she and the defendant were friends with benefits, but the defendant claims he wanted to date Christina, and she just used him for sex and a place to live.
How was it living with him first?
Okay, so Antonio is very...
You can't keep your eyes off Antonio.
You're not looking at me.
Yeah, I thought maybe you were looking at Doyle, but then I said, oh no. She's looking right at him, doctor.
Antonio...
You're the man.
Yeah, that's
right. So how was it?
Okay, so it was hard, to be honest with you.
How so?
He's really jealous and possessive, and I'm very free-spirited, and I have lots of guy friends, and they're just my friends, but I'm just free-spirited with them. I was single, so I didn't have to, behave any certain way. I wrestle with my guy friends, and they give me piggyback rides, and it's just how I've always been. And
I'm a Scorpio, Your Honor. what can I say?
A Scorpio? Oh, no wonder then.
What's that?
Scorpio sign. You know the stereotype about
No,
that, right?
no.
You don't know the stereotype
For
about
Scorpio?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no, they're supposed to be high-powered freaks.
Oh.
No, that's still, I'm saying that's a stereotype. Not, I assume it's not true.
Oh, it's true.
It's true?
No. Okay, look.
I knew there was something going on here, but man, she said
It's similar. It's similar.
All right, go ahead.
So,
You don't have to worry about a woman no more. What she just said, they'll be lined up time you walk out the door.
hey, I'm trying to tell him. But anyways, no, living with him was great most of the time, but he was really irresponsible a lot of the time. But he was in good intentions, like buying me gifts and stuff when there's bills to pay, or like missing work because he wants to stay home and do stuff all day. It's not productive. Unless you're trying to make babies, you know. And I just don't tolerate that kind of behavior from any man that I want to have that kind of connection with.
That's right. And was there an agreement for rent?
No, Your Honor. When I first asked Antonio if I could move in with him, I did. Initially, I wanted only to rent the extra room, and I wasn't looking for any connection like
what
that.
was the agreement though? Or
It was I was
there?
gonna. Well, we didn't
How
have a
much?
solid agreement,
Okay.
but I asked if I could rent the room, and he moved my stuff in. The first month when I tried to pay him rent, he said no.
Okay.
No,
So there wasn't a set amount of rent ever.
never.
All right. And tell me about what occurred here to cause you to sue him.
So I was on probation in two different counties, and I had probation review appointment. They wanted to extend my probation, but I had just I was getting ready to finalize my divorce in 2 weeks, and I was going to be receiving a large chunk of money, and I wanted to move out of the state and just get away and start over again. And
Okay.
but they wanted me to do another year probation in both counties, and I asked them, please, no, can you just convert it to jail time? I'll just go to jail, please, because I want to move, you know. And so they did, and they arrested me right then. They didn't give me no time to get my affairs in order. Usually they would. I don't know why they didn't, but they didn't, and they took me directly to jail. I wasn't able to contact him the whole time I was in jail. He knew where I was, but he never wrote me or came to put money on my books or see me or nothing. Like, out of sight, out of mind. Must be a Scorpio thing.
Nope.
Well, when I got out, he was right there, you know, got a hotel room, and everything was perfectly fine, and we, you know, hooked up or whatever. And then I asked if I could play on his phone, you know. And this notification popped down from public storage. And it said, due to your lack of response, your storage number, blah, 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 is being put up for auction. And then they had the auction date. And so I opened the message. And then I seen that before that, they had sent him previous messages about lien, and like trying to get him the opportunity to fix it.
And this was for your furniture that he had put in storage.
We put in storage together because when we got evicted.
Oh, okay. So both of your things were in storage.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So your
Yes.
things were sold at auction, and that's what you're suing him for?
Yes.
You have a list of the items?
Yes, sir.
We hear from you, sir.
Well, yeah, what you say was true. You know, we did come up with an agreement on the storage payment thing, and
Why you didn't go visit your woman in jail?
well, I didn't know because she ran away from me.
You know where she was.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
After 3 days after, where her friend contacted me,
I
3
was-
days after,
Yeah.
I didn't even know where she was in the
Well, you
beginning.
knew 3
3
days
days.
after.
No, I didn't. She just told me, oh, Christina's in jail.
Yeah.
And that's it.
How many jails you got in town?
3.
That's
County.
3 phone calls.
I only been in 3, so I don't know which jail she was in.
Your Honor, he was partying at casinos and buying dope for his friends and putting it on Facebook when I was in jail. That's why he didn't have no money to pay the storage or to come do anything when I was in jail.
Well, we did come up with an agreement where we both were supposed to pay for it, and
Before I went to
and-
jail.
Let him finish.
and after that, you know, she went to jail, and I got stuck with doing the payment, so it was kind of hard for me because I was struggling at the time to pay him, to pay the storage.
Plaintiff Christina Adams says she and the defendant were friends with benefits, but the defendant claims he wanted to date Christina, and she just used him for sex and a place to live.
What did you expect to happen then?
What could I say?
You can tell me what you expected to happen if you don't pay the bill at the storage unit.
The storage unit, the storage people were auctioning off the storage and
You
sell
knew
it.
that would happen if you stopped paying.
Yeah, I know that.
So what did you do to avoid that?
Like I said, I was struggling and I just couldn't
That's
pay.
all. You just sat there and struggled.
Yeah, and I couldn't.
You didn't beg, borrow, and steal. You're supposed to do one of the three or all three, sir.
Yeah,
You know they're about to take all your possessions.
I do understand.
Beg, borrow, leave the stealing off, but beg and borrow. Yes.
Your Honor, Antonio had a full-time job. He wasn't struggling. The only thing he was struggling with was to choose his friends and dope over his responsibility. He could have sold any one thing out of my stuff. He could have sold anything, the mini bike, anything.
And what was the?
$179.
How much?
He lost it for $179.
$179. Is that true, sir?
sir.
Well,
All right. What is your counterclaim for?
well, I do. I'm countersuing her for unpaid rent because I believe that it's not fair for her to be suing me for her things that were lost when my things were lost too at the same time. So why would I have to pay her money?
Because you
when I
caused
lost?
it.
No, it wasn't only her things. It wasn't only her
You
things.
caused the loss of your things too.
Yeah,
You
no,
caused the loss of your things.
But why would she be suing me for her?
Because you caused the loss of her things too.
Yeah, but she's claiming only her things.
Yeah.
Only her things, not
Yes.
mine. Not mine.
She's suing you about her things.
Well,
So-
my things got lost in there too.
I'm not dealing with you, sir. The rent on what? The rent on the storage or the rent on staying
on
with
the
you?
apartment because I think that
And what was the agreement on the amount?
there was it was 625, but there was
And when did you all make this agreement?
when after she moved in, Your Honor.
How long after?
Probably like 2 weeks later after,
Why you let her in without an agreement?
because I was in love with her. And
Well, let's keep it that way. Your claim is dismissed for the unpaid rent. I don't believe there was an agreement like this woman said. $3,780 is yours for the value of your property that he negligently left. You had an obligation to make sure her things weren't lost. And yes, if she was in jail, that might affect it. If it was $10,000, even $1,000, I might understand. You might not be able to come up with or beg or borrow. But you can either come up with, beg, or borrow $179. So I'm going to conclude that you were negligent in maintaining her property, which you had taken responsibility for. Your claim is dismissed and yours is granted. Have a good day.
Good luck. And I hope we could still be friends and maybe later on in time we could be something other than just friends.
It shows a lot of responsibility for you to have made it here. It's a big step for you, and I am willing to work on our friendship.